What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back for another review of Tyler Perry Sistas. This is season 6, episode 17, and the episode is titled A Taste of Freedom. Let's get right into this review. I know this review is late because your girl was under the weather, but I am back, okay? So let's get into it. So we start this episode off with Preston popping up on Danny at her job, right? There were so many things that were going wrong in this scene for me that I just have to point out to y'all. First things first, Danny, why was you parked like that? Well, like, am I tripping or was she double parked? Like, what was happening there, first of all? Secondly, when did Danny get a new car? We ain't seen Danny go car shopping. Where did Danny get the money for a new car? Because she ain't got money like that. How did Danny get a new car? Somebody let me know. Why does Preston have a spare key to her car? Why? That's random. I get he's your boyfriend, but be for real. Also, Tony, why do you drive that black van like that, yet you have a briefcase in your hand? So many things were going wrong with this scene, but I'm just gonna digress, y'all. So, here we go. Preston has clearly heard everything that these two people have talked about, because he even knew that they went out the previous night. So I'm like, wow, so you've been listening to this conversation for a cool little minute. Now, what's annoying to me is how Tony, instead of him just leaving the situation, he's like, oh no, I'm going to stand here and I'm going to wait for her and walk her to the door or whatever. You don't need to walk her to the door. Like, why are you acting so weird considering you know that this is her boyfriend? Why don't you know how to play your position? Like, did you not listen to Pleasure P when he said he's boyfriend number 2? You need to go back and listen to that song, because clearly you don't know how to play your role. Preston, what was you trying to put in Danny's car? Because you rode up to the car talking about I was going to surprise you. What was the surprise? I didn't see no roses in your hand, no nothing. Let's make that make sense. Okay, now y'all know that we have been on a roller coaster when it comes to Preston and Danny's relationship, okay? Most of us at this point, we don't even want them together just because of all the shenanigans that Preston has gone through with his ex-girlfriend and all of that foolishness, right? However, we all watched the episode where they decided, oh yeah, we're going to be boyfriend and girlfriend. We have yet to see them actually act like a boyfriend and girlfriend, because every time Danny sees that man, she's running from him. And then for us to get Tony now, like, it's blowing my mind that Tony has popped up out of thin air right now after she has officially said that she's with Preston. Like, where was Tony seasons ago? Like a solid season 3. You know what I'm saying? But I digress, you guys. This scene, it was very annoying because at the end of the day, Danny, you need to go ahead and make a choice. Either you gonna rock out with Preston, somebody who you're familiar with, who you refuse to give a solid chance to, or you're gonna go with this guy, Tony, who is pretending to be a nice guy. But let's go ahead and move on. Sabrina, Maurice, and Andy, okay? They have just gotten the news that, Sabrina and Maurice, they are off, right? One thing that kind of annoyed me in this scene was how Sabrina kept thanking Andy. And I'm just like, what did Andy do again? Like, yes, she put the money up for you, but nothing that Andy said in that conversation with the DA was like the changing factor on if y'all was going to be off free or not. Like, no, the DA, he picked up Quincy. Like, y'all was going to be set free regardless. I don't understand why we're over here. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Andy. Andy didn't do nothing. Not a thing. Especially not for Maurice. If we really want to be technical, because she could care less about what Maurice was going through. But nonetheless, they talk about how they're going to celebrate, right? They're going to celebrate tonight, and it's going to be a whole thing. Oh, wait. But where's the celebration, you guys? Oh, at Jordan's house. Let me tell you about the foolishness, or should I say the high schoolness of this whole Jordan, Rich, Tony, Danny, Sabrina, and Andy situation. It is giving high school to the fullest, okay? First of all, y'all already established that y'all are going to Jordan's house the next day so that way he can barbecue for y'all. Why is Andy stressed out about the fact that this man has not called her? Like, first of all, why is he even calling you? He could have just shot her a text. Be for real. Like, also, Andy, you are so used to men being, fully obsessed with you that you start to sweat if a man don't reach out to you within the first 24 hours. Relax, baby girl. Relax. If anything, you should be hitting him up and saying, hey, you mentioned barbecue. You didn't say your address. Like, why can't you take the initiative, Andy? I'm just curious. Considering you say that you like this guy, we'll be about it. Now, when it comes to Sabrina and Rich, you guys, I'm not really sure. Out of all of the high schoolness of all of this, I can kind of see Sabrina having a thing for Rich, but I feel like we still don't know enough about him for me to be sold on Sabrina having a thing with this guy, Rich. Now, Andy, you gonna lean over to Sabrina and the girls one more time and say, is this too good to be true that we met 3 amazing guys? Like, Tyler, you have had this girl say this line a solid 3-4 times now. We get it. She's in Delulu land and thinks that these guys are so great. But I'm sorry, nothing about them is screaming great. Okay? I can't tell you what Rich do for a living. Yeah, Jordan, he seems like a simp. And Tony is a little psychotic. Okay? Tony is a creep. But nonetheless, Sabrina is telling her how, Jordan, he's definitely going to call Andy, and they're going to get a ride share, and they're going to go over to Jordan's house and have a good time. Whoop-de-doo. Let's go ahead and move right on along. So, y'all, we see Fatima and Zach. They are in this meeting with the lawyer because he's trying to get this emergency hearing. Basically, we got nothing out of this. Besides the fact that we're going to be waiting to see if they can get the hearing. And also, one thing that was very strange to me. There were no welfare reports, against Heather. And I find that to be very strange because that nosy neighbor, she kept talking about how she calling this person. She calling CPS. She calling DCFC or DCFS. She's supposed to be calling all the people. So that way, she can, try to get Michael out of Heather's custody. She swears she be doing all of this, but ain't done nothing. I said, I know you lying. I know y'all did not give us this nosy neighbor who was doing all that talking and ain't called nobody. Tyler, you have got to stop giving us these useless characters. And then for Fatima to say, but we have a witness. I know you're not talking about that lady. I know you don't think that lady is going to be your witness. Because she didn't even do the job that she told you that she did. Nonetheless, after their meeting or whatever, they end up running into Hayden. Y'all, I did not care about this scene at all. You have Zach and Hayden kind of going back and forth a little bit because Hayden is trying to introduce Tamara to them, and I don't understand why. Like, why does Tamara need to meet Zach and Fatima? Y'all not friends. Y'all not about to go on double dates. I don't care. Just like I do not care about how Zach, he has so much, not even venom, but he just has so much to chime in about when it came to Hayden. I'm just like, this scene is unnecessary. At this point, you can get rid of Hayden and Tamara. That's fine. They are some characters that can go next season. But let's go ahead and move on. Because we have Sabrina. She ends up calling Danny to tell her that her charges have been dropped. And Danny, she ends up telling Sabrina about Preston popping up. Now, here's my thing. First of all, she left out major detail. You leaving out the details that you were flirting with Tony. Let's start there. Then you have Sabrina questioning if you're with Preston or not. Didn't you just tell her that y'all are going steady? Didn't you just tell this girl that you're the official girlfriend? Y'all are official now? What happened to that? Because I'm like, there's no way your friend gonna forget that fast that you're with Preston. If anything, They should be like, hey, yo, Danny, didn't you just tell us that you really rocking with Preston right now? Why you all in Tony's face? That's the vibe that they should be giving you. But nonetheless, she gets off the phone with Sabrina because, what's his name? Tony. He ends up walking up. Now, he has the audacity to talk about how, oh, I didn't expect for you to be with a guy like Preston because Preston is white. And I'm just like, you don't think that she could be with a white man? Sir, I think that you would absolutely be with a white woman. So I don't even know why you coming at her like this. Also, it is so annoying to me to watch Tony know that this girl has a man. He knows that she has a man, and he is still constantly pursuing her. You knew that, because you've been listening all this time. You've been listening to all her conversations. You knew all this time that she was dealing with Preston, but they were not officially together. Why is it now that when she's officially with him, you want to pop up out the woodworks to be like, oh, here I am. You should come be with me. No. I'm sorry, Tony is a weirdo, y'all. And then, did y'all catch when he had mentioned like the guy who licked her booty or whatever? Why do you know that? Like, how do you know that? Danny, who are you on the phone with? Because there's no way you on the phone with the girls. Who are you on the phone with? Because I'm confused. Like I said, y'all, he knows way too much about Danny. There's nothing attractive about that. It's giving stalker. Honestly, with all the things that Danny has been through, I don't even understand how she's giving him any time of day. The fact that he knows all that random stuff about you, you don't think that's creepy? After you just went through all this other foolishness? Like, I thought that Danny would have swore off men at this point. I really did. Baby girl still ain't stepped foot in therapy, but nonetheless, she talks about how Jordan hasn't called Andy. And, oh, that's such a big deal. So now he has to go call Jordan and tell him, hey, you need to call Andy. If you gotta do all that, this ain't meant to be. But my bad, Jordan's house is the meetup place. So we gotta make sure that he talks to Andy. Because other than that, the rest of y'all ain't got nowhere to go tonight. Whack, whack, whack. Like, all of this is thirsty. Thirsty behavior. Alright, so in the next scene, y'all, we see Andy and Fatima. They're talking briefly about Zach and his drama. And then Jordan, he finally calls Andy. Now, at first, she want to play games. She don't want to answer the phone. But Fatima ends up picking up the phone, answering it for her, and then passing it to Andy. First of all, this man has no game whatsoever. This whole conversation is lasting way too long. Sir, just say you gonna text her your address and we can move on. Like, I don't know what all of this rambling was, but it was unnecessary. Like, all of this could have been in a text message. Hey, I know I invited you to come over. Here's the address. Let me know if you can come. That's all we needed. We didn't need none of this whole conversation. Also, the fact that Andy really wanted to drag this out just because she wants to play games with somebody. Andy, go away from us with this. You too old to be playing games, and I think you've played enough games when it comes to the men that you have dated. You played so many games with Robin and his feelings, he never came back to the damn show. Nonetheless, Fatima, this is one thing she said that stood out to me. And I said, girl, you are crazy. She talking about so she doesn't mind going through all this stuff with Zach because she feel like Zach is worth it. Girl, you are sounding like Betty Wright. Having a piece of man is better than having no man. If you like it, I guess, girl. I'm not going to say I love it. But, like, I am so ready for the tides to change and for things to be about Fatima and not so much about Zach. Because ever since Zach has gotten with Fatima, everything has been revolved around what Zach got going on. Can Fatima enroll back in school? Can Fatima do something besides chase after Zachary and fix all his problems? Because I would really like that for her. I would really like for her to have her own stuff going on, because when she met Zach, she was involved with, what was it? The Build a Man Up and Build a House crew. What was the people called, y'all? Y'all know what I'm talking about. The builders. She was working with that company. She was doing this and that. And now she ain't doing nothing but running behind Zach. And I'm over it. But let's go ahead and move on, y'all. We see Sabrina. She at her house. That's fine. But why is Bio here? After that last encounter, y'all need to meet in a public place. Actually, not even meet in a public place. He can text. He can send some text messages, but ain't no way he needs to be popping up at your house. So this man, he says that he ain't got his money back yet. And she's like, well, you know, I'm in the clear. We were cleared of all the charges. And he's like, oh, well, we should go out and celebrate. Sabrina's not interested in this man. She has already established that the last time that they had a conversation. And of course she says that it's because of the way he treated Maurice. If we really want to be honest, Sabrina ain't been feeling Bio for a cool minute, and I feel like even before Maurice. But she ain't saying that. But nonetheless, this whole situation took a left turn. He calls her out her name, calls her trifling, calls her a B, calls her a user. And now hold on. Y'all can be mad at me for saying this, but let's be for real. Is Sabrina a user? Absolutely. She absolutely was in this situation. I'm not about to sit up here and act like Sabrina did not use that man. She did. Because what else? There was no fair trade in this. There was nothing. I'm sorry. There's nobody who's going to give you $1 million to bail somebody out of jail and think that they don't want nothing in return. Sabrina, what drug are you on? Because be for real. Like, how desperate were you that you asked technically a random man for $1 million? That was absolutely crazy. And then at the end of the day, you didn't even really want to be with Bio. Y'all weren't really friends. You only knew him for what, a few weeks? If that? Yeah, this whole situation is ridiculous. So I can honestly see why he called her a user. Now, all the rest of that was a bit much. So she ends up getting up, going to her front door, opening it up like, yo, you gotta leave. He ends up calling her out her name again, and Daniela ends up showing up. Now, when Danny shows up, this man, he does finally leave. And I'm just like, yeah, he shouldn't have been at your house to begin with, because at the end of the day, y'all don't have nothing to talk about anymore. Y'all not friends. Y'all not cool. You and Bio, it's a wrap. Bio is another one. Bye, Bio. We don't need to see you anymore. So Danny, she's like, oh, you know, I have drinks, because she probably done stole some more little baby liquor bottles from the planes or whatever. And she's like, oh yeah, we can just basically pregame and then get ready to meet up with these guys. This girl, she plans on borrowing clothes from Sabrina because she's avoiding Preston. That's crazy to me. This is the second night in a row that you have avoided going home to be with Preston, who is supposed to be your boyfriend. Keep in mind, they only officially been boyfriend and girlfriend for like what? This is day 2, 3, maybe 4 at this point. Girl, leave Preston alone. Leave Preston alone. If you want to be with Tony, go be with Tony. But just let Preston go. Because the way that you are avoiding your home at this point is ridiculous. So y'all, here we go with another scene. I said, Tyler, you gotta be stopped. Karen is over here leaving stuff on the doorstep of Zach's house for the second time. Why are you coming over here to do this? First of all, you don't even have a shop anymore. You don't have steady income. Why are you spending your money on Zach's son? That's not your child, number one. You're not Zach's partner. And third, Zach has money. Who does that? That's like going to the rich and handing out turkeys for Thanksgiving. Why would I give them a turkey? They can afford it. Like, I don't understand what is happening with this scene. Why is Karen, why is Karen over here showing up to Zach's house to give him stuff? It's bad enough the last time she was there, she gave him a whole car seat. I don't even know where you went to. Why are you at the Target getting a car seat, girl? Zach can afford this stuff. And if he can't, Fatima can. Like, to me, that is so weird. Like, you over here buying Zach Child some stuff. Give that money to Pam. How about that? How about you gonna give that money to Pam because she gotta pay her rent? I feel like that's a better idea. But nonetheless, Zach, he ends up coming outside and seeing Karen, and he gives her the rundown on his life and his legal battles. And I'm like, again, you and Karen ain't tight like glue. Why are you giving her this information? And then you talking about how, everything is so bad with Heather. And then he ends up questioning her on, why she doing all this. And according to her, she's like, seeing that little boy like that, and he looks just like you, it just did something to me, blah, 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 blah. Girl, you just want another reason to have some type of connection with Zach, and you ain't fooling me. But she does let him know that Aaron is no longer in the picture, and it's just going to be about her and the baby. Okay, Karen. But let's go ahead and move on, y'all, to this last little scene. So Andy, she shows up to Sabrina's apartment, and she look good. I can't lie, she look good. That middle school hairstyle that she got, I'm over that. But besides that, she looks good. Like, I really want Andy to switch her hair up. Am I the only one who wants that? Like, I really want her to switch up the hairstyle. But nonetheless, Andy, she gets there, and then we see what Danny has on. Baby, that Danny, that outfit, I was speechless. It did not fit her body type. I know that she's supposed to be wearing Sabrina's clothes, but be for real. That dress was an absolute no. I'm speechless. I'm just so speechless on how bad Danny looked, because she's talking about I have my whole bag. Well, girl, find an outfit that's in there. Or did you already use your spare outfit the night before because that's what you wore when you hung out with them the previous night? So you didn't have no extra clothes? Is that what's happening? Is that what's happening? Because here's the thing. When Sabrina came out, she looked cute. But what? Danny was looking crazy. Nonetheless, they decide that they are going to go over to see these guys. Now, keep in mind, Danny, she feels like Sabrina, she should get with Rich. But you already know Sabrina, hell, she might have Calvin in the back of her mind. Who knows? But we had a quick scene with Zach and Fatima. Nothing was happening there. But let's just move on to the high school crew, because first things first, you have the cornballs. They are getting ready for the ladies to come over. They wiping stuff down or whatever, being super giddy, again, like high school. Honestly, it was giving middle school. And they finally opened the door or whatever, and Rich got this big beanie on his head. It looks a mess, but nonetheless, they go to Jordan's house. It was whatever. They're like, oh yeah, ooh, it's so nice. And they go to the backyard, right? Okay, cool. They get to the backyard. Y'all, why is Gary there? Gary, why are you here? I'm trying to understand, are you hard up for cash that you gotta be a bartender for the night? What's happening? Did you just befriend this man within like a day? Why are you here? And then on the next episode, he about to pretend like he don't even know Andy. Y'all, this is about to be a mess. Hopefully the next episode will be better than this one. Let me know what y'all thought about it. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to y'all in my next review. Bye, guys.